What is up, everyone? Welcome to Club Collab. It's your favorite guy, Max Jimenez, and I
Me,
got
bro.
my man, the myth, the legend, the guy that gets up at 2:30 a.m. He can't compete. Real Ryan over cash. Let's go, baby.
Oh, I love that intro, bro. We gotta have some sounds coming in. Where's the soundboard at?
Yeah,
We
we
got a
got a
soundboard yet?
do.
Yeah. Boom.
What's
What's
up,
up?
brother? What's going on?
Not much, bro. Good to see you. Feel
Let's
like it's been a
go.
minute.
Haven't seen you in like 2 weeks, bro. Where you been at?
Gabe in the house.
Gabe Raboyar Catalan.
Oh, I can't say it, or else I was gonna say it.
You can't say it? Why not?
Well, all of it. What is it again? His first name, Lucius.
His name is
Gabe. What's your
Gabe
first name? Lucius.
Catalan.
Lucius. You should say Lucius.
I forgot. What is his first name?
Bro, isn't that like from a show or something?
Stop.
All right, everyone. You're so funny, bro. Cool. So welcome to Club Collab. Tonight we have a special show for everyone. So if you're joining us, if you don't know what the show is about, oh, there he goes. He posted it, bro. He said, let's see. Yeah, he put it on there. It should come up. Julian Gabriel Rebollar Catalan.
There, that was close. Lucius, Julian.
He said Lucius. Cool. Awesome. So today we got a real interesting show for you all. We want to talk about the difference between salesperson and closers. Man, what do you think the difference is, Ryan?
I think there's a lot, bro. To be honest with you, Max. One's process, right?
Yeah.
I think
okay.
a professional, 1st and foremost, has a process.
Right.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a really great explanation, right? Salesmen wing it, and those that truly know how to close and take the call or the appointment from A to Z, right? I think that's systematically, there's a system, there's a process that you can follow, and that is one of the probably the biggest difference, right? Is basically that's what sets both of them apart. Plus, there's other stuff we're gonna dive deep into, but yeah. So go ahead.
I got a good example, Max. I thought of you this morning when I was in the gym. First thing I walked through real quick. I think you met this guy in the sauna when you came, but he's an insurance salesman. His name is Tony. Right. I see him all the time. He's a guy one day, just real quick, that said, I never really understood why you want to read books. And I told you about this conversation, Max.
Oh,
anyways,
yeah,
I just want to kind of, but he's in insurance sales, and he always talks, good guy, nothing wrong at all by any means. But anyways, again, why I thought of you right away this morning, I'm coming in, I'm like, hey, what's up, Tony? How you doing? He's like, oh man, I'm just getting ready. I said, oh, I could tell you wanted to talk. He's like, yeah, I got this proposal. Yeah, you know what I mean? When they they're just waiting for you to say something. So anyways, I could tell you wanted to say something. So I was like, hey, what's up, man? I got this proposal for this. I do health insurance. I'm like, yeah, we got this big account. He's all, but what happened was the lady sent me an email saying that they don't need health insurance. They already have it. So I'm meeting her today and I'm prepared. I go, oh, cool. And Mac, I was like, man, I'm sure you have your own way, but you just got to find out, what their issues are, what problems you need to solve. And I can't even spit that out. He's like, oh no, I already got it. I already know. Like we have this and that. What I'm trying to get to, long story short, he went right to features and benefits. And I know he wasn't about to hear all this. I go, oh yeah, man, you got it, good to go. And I walked in the sauna. I'm like, dang, bro, he's going to try to sell with features and benefits. And she's going to be like, that doesn't matter to me. Then what? Where are you at? So anyway, sorry to take so long to spit that out, bro. But that was really
I love that, man. I love that. What did you say to him, or how was the what was your response to that? Because I think that's interesting. We got Eduardo. He says, finally, I start understanding why I need a process. We'll dive into that. We'll dive into that here. But what was your response to him, Ryan, when he's telling you that?
Oh, when he started going into it, I can tell he didn't want to listen. Plus, I didn't want to have to take the time to sit there and try to, break it down and explain. But I could even spit it out before he was like all about the features and benefits. And I just, like I said, I had to walk away. I was like, all right, well, hey, man, good luck and hope all goes well. And he's like, yeah. And I walked in the sauna. That was it. Because I was like, he didn't want to listen. Right. We talk about, we talk about this a lot. If someone is coachable and open to ideas, doesn't mean you have to listen to us. I don't have all the answers in the world, but someone is just like, let me take that in. But no, he didn't want to hear it, so I didn't have time for it.
Yeah, I think the problem is that is most of us, when it comes to understanding and learning, is, we have a little bit of success, right? And so because we have a little bit of success, we think that is the end all be all, right? Like, we don't need to learn anymore. We don't need to learn something new. We know it, we understand it, like. And I think that's the biggest mistake you can make, right? That's one of the biggest downfalls to a career. That's one of the biggest downfall to somebody that that's planning to be here in the longevity. Because I always talk about this is, I'm not here for the short game. I'm here for the long game, right? I'm not here for a couple of years of good profits. Like, we're here for life. So understanding that is, you need to work on your craft. And you, just like yourself, myself, I am a student, right? I learn from everybody. I'm always learning. I'm always, listening to people, even if it's something I don't agree with. And I told you this, I think last week when you and I were talking about Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn spoke about this, remember? So Jim Rohn, it's for those of you guys who know who he is. He was a speaker, right? Like in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I mean, really big. And to me, he's one of the greatest speaker. He's actually Tony Robbins and Darren Hardy's mentor. So Tony Robbins and Darren Hardy actually learned under Jim Rohn. But I still like Jim Rohn better than Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins went a little bit more new age and rah-rah, where Jim Rohn stayed grounded and stayed with practicality, right? There's a big difference. So he says that we have to learn. We always have to be learning. We always have to be a student, whether that teaching is whether you agree with it or not, right? It doesn't matter at the end of the day. What matters is, what was your takeaway, right? What was the practicality behind it? So I love that he said that, because I think a lot of us, we get to a point where we're like, we can't learn from people. And we know some people, we know a few people that were in our circle about that, right? I'm not gonna say names and stuff, but
absolutely. Everyone thinks that they become the master. Max, even happened not in that way by any means. I never have had that attitude. I don't take on that attitude at all. But happened to me after my first year in my previous career, when I happened to do well. I don't know what it was, but I was like, oh yeah, and again, this is before I really understood self-development. I'm like, oh, I already listened to that book. I'm good. I'm this guy. I just became #1 in the nation, whatever, with what I was doing. So I'm good to go. And then halfway through the year, I kind of started looking. I'm like, whoa, I'm behind last year. Big time. And what it correlated with too was my Audible. I can tell the usage on a bar graph, and it honestly was going up when I started. My income went up, and as my income started coming back down, because I stopped working on myself, stopped working on my skills, I just thought like, oh, I got it, I made it. It affects how you perform. 100%.
Yeah, check this out. I'm glad you brought this up, because I'm glad we're talking about this. Here, let me bring this quote up. I want to show you this cool quote. Let me see if I can find it.
You know who it's by?
It's Jim Rohn.
Oh,
yeah.
Jim Rohn.
Let's see.
You know most of them by heart.
Yeah, quite a bit of them, but he has so many, man. It's like it's so hard to. I wish I can remember all of them, but he just has so many. Let's see. Let's take a look real quick. But it goes in line to what you're talking about, right? Because I think how you're saying, like, the more you were reading, right, the more you were learning, you would see your income increase, right? And the less you were doing that, like learning, let's see, the less you were doing that, you saw your income decline. And there's a correlation, right? I think
big time. That's what it proved to me. I couldn't believe it, because I looked at it afterwards and I was like, holy moly. Like, that is actually really true. That was one of the things that really helped reinforce. Plus, again, money speaks. And I started seeing how it was affecting my income. And then, Max, it started getting in the head of, oh my gosh, was I a one-hit wonder? Can I continue to do this? I always heard people saying it's not just about how much you make, is can you continue to do it at a high level year after year after year? Right. So all that like stigma started coming. I'm like, no way, I'm not going to be a statistic. So, anyways, it just forced me to reconnect, get back to self-development, and really start creating a process, which I'm going to get into a little bit later.
Yeah, 100%, brother. I think I don't know why I can't pull this up. For some reason, it's not letting me. Let's see what is going on here. Oh, here we go. For some reason, I don't know why it's not letting me. Oh, here we go. Okay, got it now. Check it out. Here we go, bro.
What up, Steven?
Check that out, bro. That's Jim Rome right there, right? What is it? Hold on. Let me see if I can zoom that in just a little more. Too much.
Pull it over a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to, but for some reason it's not letting me. All right, so it says, let me click on it. It says, work harder. I guess it takes me to this page, but it says, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. If you work hard on your job, you can make a living. If you work hard on yourself, you can make a future. Income seldom exceeds personal development, right? That's what you were talking about there.
Yeah.
Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. If you work hard on your job, you can make a living. If you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune. And then the last line, right? Income seldom exceeds personal development. Yeah. So this is nothing new, bro. Like I said, Jim Rohn has been saying this for such a long time, right? And it holds true even till today. When you just said it, we had no plans to even bring this up, but glad you were talking about that. So as you can see, right, that's huge, that self-development. And we used to say that in the office, right? Like we used to say, hey, well, actually we do that even till today. Like, hey, we work harder on ourselves than we actually do on what we do, right? On our work, because there's a correlation that if you work harder on yourself, you're going to be more successful at what you do, if that makes sense.
100%. And we saw it. Like, not only obviously that I just shared the story how I experienced it in my own life. We saw it happen with individuals that came in the office, right? Really, that came and went, in the office.
Yeah, no, 100%. So going back to our topic tonight, right? Salesman versus closer. Like, a lot of people think they're closers because they know one-liners, because they know certain phrases, and and that's not really what it's about, right? It's, for me, when someone says, hey, I'm a closer, which I'm not big on using those words, but we use those because that's what most people are familiar with, right? And salesman versus closer. And so what happens is that it's a process that can continually give you results, right? In and out every single day. Is the process 100 proof? Absolutely not. The idea of having a sales system in place is for you to increase your percentages, increase your averages, increase your win potential, right? That's all it is, right? The system is not made to be bulletproof. It's not made to. It's one of the things I always I always laugh, like, oh, everybody's looking for that perfection. Everybody's looking for, like, the thing that's gonna, where you can't, like, but there isn't, right? I don't care who it is. I don't care what they do. Tell them to show you your wins and tell them to show you their losses. I can tell you the losses always will outweigh the wins. But if my percentage, because dude, in baseball, if you bat 300, you're in the Hall of Fame, right? And what's the highest? 1,000 percentage. So if you bat 250, like average 250 to 300 in your career, you are in the Hall of Fame. I can tell you that right now. There's a great chance you're going to be in the Hall of Fame because you're hitting home runs, you're hitting, your runs batted in are going to be high, all that stuff, right? So, it's all the process and the system. The sales system is to increase your percentages and increase your opportunities to win, if that makes sense, Ryan.
Yeah, no, totally does. And one thing I like to also that helps is to help project your income. Like, there's nothing worse than not being able to project, okay, what should I potentially be making based on, meaning, all right, I have X amount of appointments. I should be able to help a certain percentage of these appointments based on my process. So that should project X amount of money. So again, so that way you can control how many appointments you have right on the calendar. If you don't have a set a number of appointments, you understand that, hey, I need to put more work in because I'm not going to make my projected income based on the appointments I have scheduled.
Right. I'm gonna show this right here. I want to this quote out of a book that I'm reading. It's called Questions, or I read. It's called Questions That Sell. Right. This is actually pretty cool. I like this because it goes in line to what we're talking about here. So I don't know, man. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Yeah, we can see it. Perfect.
So it says, man. So can you see that or no?
Yeah.
I don't know if people out there can see it. Let me fix it, bro.
Oh, bro, I gotta put my glasses on.
Put your eyeballs on, dog.
Hey.
Put your extra eyeballs on. Wow, why is this thing like this, bro? Like, anyways, it says,
you need a VA.
What's that?
You need a VA, bro.
I need something. It says the role. You see what it says? It says the role of a salesperson as a provider of information or as a walking brochure is obsolete.
Ooh, yeah.
The true competitive advantage is to be a collector of information, basically to know your prospect better. What do you need to know better? Their hopes, their fears, desires, visions, and motivation. The things they only reveal to those they trust. Listen to that, man. The things they only reveal to those they trust. How does a prospect look at a relationship? How a salesperson can bring value to them. So what that means is that and I said this, right? Most people think that that if we can get somebody to like us, if we can get somebody to think that we're like them, they're going to do business with us. And that's absolutely, that can't be more farther than the truth, right? It's about trust. You know, how can we get somebody to trust us, you know, on the phone? That's by asking questions, right? That's what it says. Like for us, just like you were talking about the guy that you were talking to today, he's a walking brochure, right?
Yep.
And those types of salespeople, they're obsolete now. They're no longer like the prospect in today's day is so educated. And I'm not saying they have all the answers or they're smart or anything like that. I'm saying they have more information.
No, they know the gimmicks, right?
Go ahead.
You know what I mean? Sorry, I hit my desk here. They know the gimmicks, right? They know when they're like, oh, this guy's trying to sell me, right? They know what that sounds like now. They know what that looks like. It's been around for so long. We've all been in the car dealership because they still sell like that.
Oh, I know they do. I know they do, right? And so that's what I love, because it says that the days of a provider of information, because they don't longer need it. What do people have now, right? Which is right this right here, right? I can sit at the dealership and I can pull up the same car and I can tell the sales guy, like, hey, you didn't give me the deal, bro. I'm going to this. You see, I'm going to this next dealership, right? And that's what happens. It's the same exact thing. While you go bring it back to our industry, right? If you think you're going to go in there sell with features and benefits and convince and you know, whatever the case may be, it's going to be you're going to lose them, right? The idea is to be a collector of information, but you can't do that if you don't have a system in place.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, you got to have a
baby.
Yeah, problem solver. You got a system in place. You got to, you know, orchestrate the conversation the way you want it. Understand that, you know, asking questions is the way to go. And so basically, it's you know, it's a work. It's kind of like if you have, like, you're going somewhere and you have a if you have a what is it called, a navigation system, right? You have A to C, which is where you're at to where you want to get to. So the idea is that, yes, it's going to take you there, but you're going to stop a lot of places on the way there, right?
Especially if I'm driving.
Yeah, especially if you're driving, especially if you got kids too, like small ones. They got to stop every 5 minutes, right? Yeah. And you know, but here's the cool thing is with this, when you have a system in place, you get back in the car and you're back again to where you're headed, back again to where you're going. You know what I mean? You don't have to worry about it. There's no like second guessing. you understand when you turn that system on, navigation system, same thing. When you go back to your sales system, guess what? You're going to know which way to take, which route to take without second guessing yourself. You know what I mean? Are you going to sightsee a little bit? Probably. Are you going to maybe go off the roll up? Maybe, but you get back on track again by going back to your sales system if you have one.
Yep. You always know like where north is, right? That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, exactly. You always know where north is, and like the compass, right? That takes you back to, you know, where you're headed, I guess, if that makes sense. So with that being said, because let's talk a little bit about that. Because you were, before you got into like real estate, and then you learn about this process that we use now. Mm-hmm. What style was the selling style where you were at? Like, what did you see?
Before, it was always features and benefits. 1000%. Like, funny you say the brochure, right? It was memorize the brochure, memorize the bullet points, be able to speak, turn that upside down, right, and be able to hit the highlights and look them at the eye while you're talking. While you're talking to them. Yeah, it was a presentation. It was, let me hold on. You know, I put my tie on. Let me get my iPad. Look at these cool stuff over here. Mm-hmm. This is what you need. Look how cool it looks.
Right.
Sign here.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you know, that still happens right now, right? Like it still happens today. I think the traditional sales system it hasn't changed. And you know what? I don't typically show this, but I want to show something really quick, bro, because just to get an insight of what I'm talking about here, I'm going to show 2 slides from the training that I do. And I typically only leave this for the sales intensive members. So I want to show you something real quick, because I think now that we're talking about this, I have a presentation, which is part of the closer's mindset, where that I show why it's important to have a sales system. Check this out really quick. I'm going to show it to you guys. So you guys that are on here, you guys are lucky. You get a little peek
bonus
into the let me see. Go back here. I don't know what happened. All right, let me share my screen. I'll put my screen back on here.
Oh, dang.
All right, can you see that?
Fancy. Look at this fancy system you got going on, bro.
You see that or no?
Yeah, I see it.
Got it. So why have a sales system, right? So if you don't have a sales system of your own when you're with the prospect, you unwillingly default to the prospect system. The prospect system never says sold. It says salesperson loses.
Let me think about it. Thank you. You were so awesome. You were so thorough. I got all the information I needed.
Here, buy my house at 50 cents on the dollar, please. Think about that. If you don't have a sales system of your own, when you are with the prospect, you unwillingly default to the prospect system. The prospect system never says sold. It says you lose, sucker.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, again, that's when they say, hey, let me think about it. I got to talk to my husband.
So you're probably right now, for those of you watching, you're thinking, well, how does the prospect have a system? Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, after going to hundreds, close to thousands of appointments, in-person appointments, and making thousands of calls and still making calls, prospects have a system, whether you believe it or not. And their system is derived from the things that they hear from their friends, the internet, coworkers, and then what happens, it's a melting pot put together, and then they're coming in more prepared than some. Think about that, right? More prepared than some sales guys.
Yeah.
Whether how janky, whether how messed up that system is, it's still a system. They're prepared, right? You want to talk about that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. They have their questions there. They have their ammo. They've already researched your competitors.
Mm-hmm.
All right. They know everything you're about to say. And usually, I'm sure you're going to talk about this a little bit too. Before you come over, they have a game plan. We're not buying today. We're not buying anything.
Exactly.
Right. That's already been said. And they may even tell you when you come in the house, first thing, right? They want to let you know.
Yep. We're not making a decision today. We just want you to look at the house. But you know, the other thing too is that like I'm gonna show one more slide because I think it's relevant to this, right? So think about this right here. Oh shoot. So it says most cell systems use techniques that were popular before the advent of jet airplanes. Does that remind you of anything, bro?
Oh wow, bro. Yeah.
Most look at the plane right there, right? Most cell systems that are still in circulation today, and you said it, right? This is most of the car dealerships are
Car
still
dealership.
using this.
Yeah.
Are using techniques that were popular before jet airplanes were invented. Isn't that crazy, dude?
It's like, wasn't that like 19th century?
Yeah, like 1900.
Jeez.
So even though there's still like, you know, some people that that have a cell system, some people that, but you still might be using techniques that are old. Again, what did I say? People have what? This on their palm of their hand, right?
Yep.
They have this.
At the internet.
What's that?
So they have the internet at the fingertips.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like they have whatever information they want to have at their fingertips, right? So the gimmicky. So in my sales intensive, the first thing I talk about is how to building advanced bonding and rapport, because like if you can't do that, right? If you cannot do that in the beginning of the call and then throughout the call and then throughout the sales process, you're not going to build trust. And so it's very important that you understand that when you're building bonding and rapport, or when you're building rapport, it has to be, the goal has to be to where it becomes about trust. Not
Authentic.
authentic, not gimmicky. It's got to be genuine. It can't be like, oh, Ryan, you know, I like your hat R. You know, R is my favorite letter. Did you know that?
That's so cool. Now we're best friends. I'm gonna buy from you.
Yeah, I have that same mirror hanging at my house, man. You know, I love that mirror because it like shows your whole body, right? When you stand in front of it, man. Isn't that awesome? Like, how gimmicky is that? And that happens right now. That happens every single day. We laugh at it, but that's what it is, right? That's the gimmicky. That is not genuine bonding and rapport. That is being gimmicky. That is not knowing what to do. And the genuine bonding and rapport, and when it comes to active listening, being empathetic, meeting them where they're at, asking to clarify, talking, you know, only 30% of the time. There's a lot of factors, right, that go into in an advanced bonding and rapport. So when before I even talk about sales negotiations, like anything like where people learn phrases, this is the first presentation that I'm showing, right? This is the closer's mindset, understanding why you need a system. And then the second is learning how to build a bonding and rapport, advanced bonding and rapport, because that's crucial to the system, right? If you cannot do that, and a lot of people think that bonding and rapport is just in the beginning. If you notice, a lot of people have like bonding and rapport, and that's not how it is, right? It's actually, it should continue throughout the whole process of your system. You see that? So that bonding and rapport in the middle, it should continue throughout the whole process, right? It should never stop. It can't be in the beginning. It's got to be throughout the whole process, bonding and rapport. And so with that being said, is that what happens is, and here's an example of that. First, start the call. Hey, Ryan, how are you today? Okay, awesome. Great. All right, cool. Awesome. Tell me a little bit more. Okay, what's going on? We're bonding, right? We're building rapport. And then we get into either talking about the property or we're talking about money right away. And then we leave bonding rapport and we get logical. Right. And what I mean by that is that now we go into adult phase where it's more like, well, you know, I'm looking at this property over here. There's no more bonding and rapport. Right. Like it's black and white, if that makes sense.
Back up.
Yeah, the walls back up. So that's why bonding and rapport is very important. It's a very crucial part, a very crucial piece of the puzzle. I think it's one of the most crucial, if not the crucial, right? Besides like advanced agreements and stuff. But I think what happens, most people don't really understand that, right? Again, that's because what we said earlier is most sales training is this. using techniques that were popular before jets were invented. You know how long ago that was, bro?
I don't know. Long time ago.
Google. When was the when did the jet get invented? And see what day that comes up with. So if you guys are getting value out of this, drop some fire emojis. Ask your questions. This is a live show. Man, everybody must be killing it because there ain't no questions coming in, Ryan. I think everybody's crushing it. I mean, they're not having issues like you and I.
And they have some deals for us to sell. Then is that what? Is that what's going on?
Sounds like they're locking everything up that they're running into.
Got some killer sales guys out there. Steven, what about you, brother? What you got going on lately, man?
What's some questions you guys have? What's going on? Steven's dropped some diamonds. Let's go, brother. Max Ryan, you guys are crushing it. Proud of you. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for that. Yeah. Good to see you, Leo. Gabe dropping some fire emojis. So again, going back to what I was saying, right? I think all this, obviously Gabe is learning, to get better, and he's doing a good job at it. It takes a little bit of transition, some time. So when you're buying
sorry, but there is an adjustment period. I think this is a big, crucial piece, small piece, but crucial. Is you got I see this all the time, Max. I saw it when you were having people fly in from all over the United States to learn from you. They come in, a lot of these guys killing it, doing good in sales, and they would learn your system or try to, and they would just get kind of confused in the beginning. You have to put work into it. You can't just see it once and be like, oh, I got this, because it is a system. It's a process. So give it a chance. Know that you're going to probably kind of be worse a little bit, and then you're going to just take off with it. Anyways, I don't want to get too far into that, but I just want to say that I saw so many people struggle, not really understand and buy into the process and the why behind it. So if you do give it a chance, work on it, put work into it, this will work. This will work for the rest of your life and any type of communication. It's helped me in all parts of communication outside of real estate. And Max knows I talk about it all the time.
I love it, but that's part of the on the foundation, on the sales fundamentals, right? I actually talk about that. Why do salespeople struggle? So there's 3 points, which is they don't invest in their craft, they don't change their belief system, right? They still have an old belief system, and then a lot of them don't take action. So you got to have all three working simultaneously, right? Investing in your craft, getting the free stuff, buying the books, potentially paying a little bit, right, for a coach.
Yeah.
And then rewiring yourself, right? Rewiring yourself. And so, and here's the thing, like I break this down like completely, right? Why salespeople struggle. I think the biggest, all three of them are working together, is that salespeople don't invest in their craft. They're always looking for the band-aids, always looking for the easy route, always looking for where closers now, we invest in our craft, right? I've been investing in my craft for years, and then I took it serious back in to another level in 2018. And so I invested a lot of money to learn what I know now. And so that's what closers do. Salesmen want the one-liners, the band-aids. And here's the problem, is that just because you gain new knowledge and new information, unfortunately, that's not going to improve your sales performance. I can guarantee you that's not going to improve your sales performance. What is going to improve your sales performance? Investing in your craft, rewiring yourself, right? Get those old belief systems, because some of you have them. I can guarantee you do. If I talk to you and I ask you, what are your beliefs about money? What are your beliefs about talking to people? What are your beliefs about certain things? And then most salespeople that are doing sales or in our industry, what happens? That's why they fail, because they don't believe they deserve it. They don't act as if they don't believe they deserve, what they're doing. A lot of times they'll come in hyped up because somebody hyped them up, their friend hyped them up. But what we're talking about here is longevity. What we're talking about here is consistency, right? We're talking about, if this is something you really want to do, then you have to invest in your craft. You got to work on rewiring your beliefs, your old belief system, and then you got to go and take action. Because if you don't, it's going to, you're not going to be able to, you're not going to win, man. You're understanding this now, right? Being that you're doing this now 2 years,
100%. Well, anyway, go ahead. I was going to say something, but I just kind of lost.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, Oh man, how was I gonna word that? Give me a second here.
No, you're good, Edwin. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for joining us and being on here. Gabe said, understanding how to work on my craft outside of the calling. Let's go. Ryan explained it well. It was very transactional because we were going through the leads when the market was hot. Yeah, we were all order takers, right? You know, a lot of us became order takers. It's like, oh, you want the, okay, perfect. Okay, you want to sell, okay, perfect, right? And no, again, this is what happened, right? People stopped working in their craft. They never really worked in their belief system, and then they just didn't take action. They became order takers. How should I adjust right now talking to sellers that think the house is worth Zillow price? You want to answer that, Ryan, or you want me?
you're the master sales guy, brother.
No.
Zillow.
So a couple of things here, right? So it's a very loaded question. Because there's not a lot of explanation, Stephen, but I'm gonna break this down. I'm gonna dissect your question. So number one is, first of all, is what type of prospect is this? There's three different type of prospect. Okay. There is a prospect that's called the motivated seller, right? That's the one that you can tell, hey, Mr. Seller, the grass is actually blue and the sky is actually green. So I need you to sign right here. Oh, okay, Max, where do I sign? Okay. So you have that seller. And then you have what we call the suspect, right? This is someone that is not really a prospect. This is somebody that potentially is asking for a number because Zillow saying my property's worth this, blah, 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 all the stuff that you probably think that they want to tell you in here. And then you have the prospects, what I call the limbo prospect. It's not neither motivated, it's not neither a suspect. They're in limbo because you haven't found out yet. They're holding their cards really tight. So depending on what prospect, which one of those prospect is actually telling you that is it. Again, guys, I'm giving you game that I probably shouldn't be giving you, but I'm going to do it for you because I love you guys.
Damn.
And so
right there.
Yeah. So you have those three types of prospects. And so depending on what prospect says this to me, I'm going to qualify it a little bit. Right. And so that's what you have to understand. The second part of this, of the dissecting your question, is where in the conversation did this happen, right? Did it happen in the beginning? Did it happen in the middle? Did it happen while you were asking questions? Because if it happened in the beginning, I can tell you is my next question is going to be like, so based on what you asked me, or based on what so what I'm hearing is, based on the statement you're making, is that you're looking to get market value or maybe even more. Because let's face it, Zillow is not always 100% right. It could be overpriced or it could be underpriced. So, but to me, it sounds like you're wanting to get the most for this property, even up to, more than what Zillow says. So, but again, depends on when that conversation is happening, right? And so if you're getting that a lot, there's something wrong that you're doing, because based on your question, how should I adjust right now talking to sellers that think the house is worth Zillow price? So you might be going too fast into price. That's usually when that happens, right, Ryan?
Yeah.
Going too fast. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say what you're saying. You go too fast, they tighten up, they revert back to what you already said earlier, their system, and their system is not giving you anything.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things you need to slow it down, right? If someone, is basically flexing, like, hey, I think my house is worth what Zillow says. All right, so when Zillow came out to look at the property and they did the inspection, is that the offer that they gave you in writing? Well, Zillow don't buy houses. Oh, okay. So how did they come up with that number that your house is worth that? So there's the sauce, if you wanted the sauce. But I didn't want to just give you that, because there's something else that you're not doing correctly, right? I think you're moving too fast into price, and you have to be careful with that. So hopefully, Steven, let me know in the comment section if that answer helped you, or if you need some clarification. So Steven said abundant mindset. Claudio said the sauce is slow cooked. It can't be cheat. You can't cheat the grind. Let's go.
Oh man, Claudio, what's up, brother?
That is facts, bro. That is facts. I love that. Steven Valdez says 100%. 100%. Alan, what's up, brother? He says,
I was cracking, Alan.
Fellas? Yeah. So going back to that statement, I want to kind of elaborate just a little bit more on this, because I think again, this is not a big problem for us. I mean, Ryan, you want to break down? I don't think this is a big problem for us.
No,
right?
I haven't had this. I haven't, heard of this in a minute. And it almost, I was about to ask you before you said that, is this not properly flushing out? Why aren't you listing it? Right.
It could be. Yeah. It could be. And again, it all depends where, what do you call it? Where this is happening in the conversation, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, looks like Steven said, let's go. All right, bro. Well, it sounds like that helped you. I appreciate you, man. Anthony, what's up, bro? Where you been at? He says, Max, I've been bagging ovations left and right.
Where at, bro? What market you in? Send me that list.
Send me that list. Let me get that list, bro. So going back to what I was saying earlier, right? We were talking about, that a lot of salespeople, not actual closers. Anthony's a closer. He came through my sales intensive, 3-week sales intensive. And I mean, the guys, guys, it's not everything we all go through challenges, right? And sometimes you got to take a little step back. That's part of the game, right? That's part of what Claudio says. The sauce is slowly cooked. Sometimes you got to turn down the heat. Sometimes you got to turn it up just a little bit, right? And so you always got to, figure out where you're at. But going back to what I was saying is investing in your craft. You gotta make sure that you continuously do that no matter what. Guys, sales is a slide edge. I'm pretty sure you've all have heard this. Sales is a slide edge, which means that at any moment, that edge can get pretty slippery, right, Ryan?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, bro. It's like you get too full of yourself, get too confident, right? I mean, real quick, you can slip right back in the hole and be like, "Oh my gosh," start panicking, right? And then what do you got to do? Got to reach out to a sales coach. Got to start working on that mindset, get that self development going.
No, 100%, man. I think it's definitely true. Sales is a slight edge, and you got to be careful because you can slip off pretty easy. And so, but the more you continue to invest in yourself, you make adjustments. You start adding new tools to your tool belt. You start to what is it called? Prepare more. For your day. And not just your morning routine, but I'm saying having routines for like your calls and stuff too as well. Yeah, exactly. And the biggest thing, man, is a lot of us come with head trash, right? We come with old beliefs, and that is probably the biggest thing out of all. Besides tactics, besides strategy, I always say that 80% of sales is mindset. Do you really believe, right? Do you really believe in your heart that what you're doing and what you're after, you deserve it, right?
Unbreakable belief.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta have it.
I love that.
Gotta have it.
Unbreakable belief. I'm gonna put that on a shirt. Unbreakable belief. That's awesome. And so a lot of us come with that head trash, and what happens is that, what is an example of that? And I don't know about you, Ryan. You probably relate to this. Is that when I was growing up, you know what I mean? We obviously know our stories and stuff. Is I didn't grow up with money, right? I didn't even know what a checking account till I was like 18, 19 till I met Tina.
Tina got that all set up for you. I already know that story.
She got it all set up. I didn't know what a checking account was, which is crazy, bro. Till I was like 19. Everything was, like cash. They never talk about taxes, no money. I mean, nothing, right? And so I was like, I guess I'll work the rest of my life.
Crazy. Sorry.
Yeah.
I just have to say now, because I get to see behind the scenes what you do now. So it's crazy. Anyways, keep going.
Yeah. So then, believes about money, like, we'll never make it. We'll never have what what everyone else has.
Yeah. It's not in our cards, right? It's not our life.
In our cards. Hey, don't, we're wasting electricity. Like, hey, that costs. Like, so all this programming as you grow up, right? Like the what's called the normality of the programming as to this is the way that it's supposed to be. So what happens is as we get older to where we start to want to do something in our lives, we bring that in with us, those thoughts, those beliefs, and we try to get on the phones and negotiate a $500,000 deal when all our lives We've been told, like, we get in this store, you better not ask for nothing. There's no money. There's nothing I can buy you, boy. And the moment you ask something, you're gonna get whoosh.
That's deep.
I mean,
That's deep.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's programmed.
And it's programmed, and now we think that without working on right, let me pull this back up. Without working on this right here, right, removing that old belief system, we think we're gonna get on the phone and negotiate a $500,000 deal at 50 cents on the dollar. Like, it's impossible. Now, you might be saying, Max, but guys get deals and yeah, they do, because of what I told you, the 3 prospects, right? The super motivated seller, the suspects, and then you got the limbo prospects, right? So yeah, you can't say anything. I mean, Ryan, you've been around this for a while. You cannot say anything wrong to a motivated seller.
I was about to say, I knew what was coming out, because it's happened a few times where we're like, what? You did what and said what, and we did what, and we still got the deal, because you can't mess up a motivated seller, right? I mean,
exactly.
You can mess it up all they want. And if they're really motivated to sell, they're going to sell no matter what. You just happen to be that person, and that gives you that false security if you don't have a system that, oh, I'm a salesperson now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So basically, that one's simple. You can overcome that. But the moment we run into a prospect that we believe, because if we have a mental block that gives us pushback, ask us questions, or we think, like, I was actually talking to Cash Money Mike today about this, is, he was talking to one of his students, and so he's talking to a guy who owns a multifamily property. And so the guy starts telling him, because he starts talking to him about seller finance, and the guy starts telling him, well, I have an MBA in finance, and and so he started to freak out a little bit, right? So he's like, so he calls.
You said Mike did? Mike started to freak out?
No, not Mike.
Oh,
no, Mike. His student.
Okay.
Yeah. He was coaching one of his students, and so the guy starts to tell him that, like, I have an MBA in finances, and I understand like this, and whatever the case may be, right? So then he starts to freak out, and I don't know if he freaked out, but he called Mike and basically told Mike, how do I walk this? And so that's exactly what happens to a lot of us, right? I can tell you it's happened to me. As soon as we get a little bit of pushback, right? Oh, they start asking questions, or wasn't prepared, and we automatically put ourselves on a mental block, like, man, these sellers are sophisticated. I don't think I can, start calling this, because again, it's that old belief system that starts to come back. But here's the biggest thing is, where does this old belief system start to mess you up? And we've seen this, Ryan, is where guys have a huge month. They do 5 to 8 deals on their own completely, and they're the man, right? They're like,
oh,
rocking.
How do I start my LLC?
Yeah. How do I start my LLC? Like, I can do this. They start having a different stride. But what happens is, the next month comes around and they're stressing, and here's why. The old belief system starts to creep in again, and they're like, dang, I don't really deserve this. Dang, I don't think, like, I should not be winning.
My luck has run out.
Yeah, my luck has run out. Dang, now Ryan is going to expect me to do this every single month. I can't do this, because again, that is basically the old belief system that's starting to creep up every single time that happens. So you got to be careful. What do we got here? So Edwin says, guys, are you still doing 70%, or is that something of the past, and everyone's doing 50 to 65 now?
70. Whew, I wish.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah. So I can tell you right now, I try to sell all the deals. I hear, anyways, I hear everything. So sorry. I had someone knocking on the door. 50, I'd say 60 to 65 tops is where you're going to sell the deal at right now. You need to lock it up between 55 and 60. I'd say, like I said, 65 tops. If it needs a full gut job, like full rehab, it's heavy, you look at it, it's trashed, it better be at 60% or less. If it's light, doesn't need that much, you can get it at 65. You can sell it at 68, But the days it's selling at 70%, that's not happening. At least I haven't seen it in months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you know, we used to, you know, a couple years ago, like we started, you know, analyzing every deal at 70%. However, we only used it as a rule of thumb of starting the analyzation around that 70% mark, but we never like stuck to it as, you know, as most people did, right? Like it has to be 70%.
We bought very deep.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we had some huge months last year. But 70% to us didn't really mean like that. It was just a way for us to start analyzing the deal, right? If it wasn't at least at 70%, you know, based on what they wanted and where we wanted to be at, and then we started making adjustments. Is this a neighborhood that, you know, is going to need, $40 a square foot for repairs, or is this a neighborhood where you can put $10 a square foot for repairs? Is this a complete rehab, or is this lipstick on a pig, right? Is this like, so you got to start thinking about all that. So you make those adjustments. But right now, man, I can tell you is you look at the current ARV and you take 10% off the ARV. So if the ARV is 300, you got to take off 30,000. And then, you know, we're dropping it all the way down to 50, 55 or 60, right? When we start negotiating. So, and that's why we're pivoting a lot to seller finance. We're adding another tool to our tool belt, right? Which we have been. Yeah, you have to. It's not even whether you want to do it. It's like you have to do it, right? You have to do that. You have to add another tool to your tool belt. So hopefully that helps, Edwin. Anthony says, when you get that money, gotta be smarter. That check will fall out of your pocket really quick.
Yeah, I think I guess at least in my experience, people I know close range, every time, like your first year that you actually do something, you usually spend it all, and you have a huge tax bill at the end of the year that you weren't prepared for. So I think that's kind of that's most of us.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. I think that's a big mistake a lot of people make, but yeah. So yep. So with that being said, I think you know, again, want to talk a little bit about the difference, right, between being a salesman and an actual closer as you move through your career. You just got to get better, man. There's really not a lot of, you know, it's not rocket science, right? I hate using that, but it's not rocket science when it comes to what it is that you need to do. Like you need to make sure that you're working on your craft, start removing some of those old belief systems, and you got to take action, man. That's the biggest thing, right? Is taking action.
I mean, think about all the time. Like any type of sales positions, you're gone a little bit. You're gone more than the average person. You're either on trips, or you're driving, or you're at sales calls, you're working late, you're taking calls on the weekends. Usually, I mean, that's just what it is. So I heard this from my past mentor, so to speak, Ryan Tracy. Like you're already there. If you're already there and you're already spending the time, get paid for your time.
Yeah.
Why are you giving your time away for free? And that's the way that I took that, was like, give it your all, 100% all the time. Be prepared for your appointment. Work on your craft. Treat it as a profession. Get paid for your time that you're putting in there. Like, I don't understand. That's why you and I have a similar understanding, with certain people's work ethic, right? We're like, what in the world is going on? We just don't get it sometimes.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's very interesting to see that, where people say, this is what I want to do. But you know, so here's another thing from I have a presentation called PASS, which is plan, attitude, and strategy, right? And how to unleash your full potential. And so one of the things I say in planning is, right, because we always hear, hey, if you fail to plan, then plan to fail, which is very cliche. And, you know, the internet ruins everything, right? It ruins, all the cool sayings that mean something. Yeah, good quotes that mean something, right? Yeah. Waters them down, and then when you say it, it's like, heard that millions of times. So if I asked everybody on this live right now, and you guys can put it in the comment section. If I ask you, how often do you want to win? Put it in the comment section. How often do you want to win? I want you guys to put that in the comment section. We're gonna give a little bit of time. How often do you want to win? I'm gonna wait for people to put it in the comment section. How often do you want to win? And I'm gonna give you some feedback as soon as some people start to drop in the comments how often they want to win.
You know who wants to win is Jose, bro. Jose, man, I wish he was on
baby.
this call today.
Yeah, he does. How often do you want to win? Here we go. Ryan said 100%. Me too. Winston said, "Hey, every day." Yo, come on,
bro. Let's go, Winston.
Every day.
That's my type of guy right there. Let's go.
Every day. Alan said every second.
Ooh, Alan is on it, man. I like Alan, bro. What's up, Alan? Love your passion, love your energy, bro. Let's get some more deals, Alan.
Let's go, guys. How often do you want to win? I want to see who else. I know there's a few of you in here, so
hell yeah.
There's a few of you. So Anthony says all damn day. Well, here's the bad news is why don't you plan like it? That makes sense, right? So 100%. What I mean by that is this, right? So if you want to win all the time, if you want to win every day, the problem is that we don't plan like we do, right? And I'm not fault at this, guys. You know, I'm not just trying to call anyone else. Jimmy said 24/75. So Alan said every second. Anthony said all day. Jimmy said 24/7, 365. Exactly. None of you on here would say, "Oh well, Max, you know, I kind of want to win on Wednesday, but then on Fridays, you know, on Thursdays, you know, I kind of want to just relax a little bit. Maybe win on Fridays all day, but then Saturday's going to come around." So everybody says this, right? Like, I want to win all day. I want to win every day, every second of my life, which is awesome. I love the mindset. I love the energy. But a lot of us, if we really dug deep and we really, looked at each other, like, we don't plan to win. Like, we want to win every day, right? And what I mean by that is we don't approach our craft. So, you know, for example, if I know that I have that, you know, do you have your prospecting time on your calendar? Do you know that every day from 9 to 11, you're going to prospect to talk your follow-ups? You probably don't have a majority. You don't even use the calendar that way. You're not planning. And so do some of you have the important things in your calendar, right? All that stuff is planning, right? What are the behaviors that you're doing? Are you writing down the goals for that hour? Are you saying during this prospect time that's on my calendar from 9 to 11, I want to have 8 conversations. Out of those 8 conversations, I want to pull out 3 prospects. And those 3 prospects, I want to have a deeper conversation when it comes to negotiations, right? Those are the behaviors. That's planning, right? All of us want to win. Like I said, there's no one on this call that would say, no, I only want to win on Mondays or Tuesdays, or maybe not Saturdays, but maybe Sundays. Nobody's going to say that. But when it comes down to it, is we don't plan. I could tell you, Ryan, and I'm at fault at this right now. I want to do this a lot more. Is that when the first 2 years, I was doing my bagel sheets. They were called bagel sheets. It's an acronym, BAGEL.
Yeah, I remember.
So they're your behaviors, added your goals, and all that. And I was doing those every day. I was doing that bagel sheet every single day of what I wanted my outcomes to be for that day of prospecting and calling and dialing. And even right now, as I'm learning like seller finance, is that I'm doing that right now. You see, I write everything down, what I want, the outcomes I want out of that call and all that. And so that's what I'm saying is that we all want to win. There is no doubt that we all want to win every single moment of our lives, but we don't plan like we do, right? We don't take the time to look at the behaviors that we do, to plan our behaviors for that day. And once you plan, here's the biggest thing. When you plan and when you write down your plan and then what your behaviors are going to be for that day, I can tell you, man, and it's like you could probably relate to this, is your attitude is different. Your attitude when it comes to approaching the calls, because you have a goal, you have a target, and nothing's going to stop you, right?
And the confidence is so different. There's a big time when you show up going, I'm prepared for this. I got this versus, oh man, I wish I would have spent a half hour, got to the office early to prepare for it.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to say real quick before you get too far, Max, because I really loved how you talked about 8 conversations out of 8 conversations, how many offers, things like that. Guys, what this also really helps with too is when you start messing up on certain ways, right? You're like, wait a minute, I made thousands of calls. I only had 2 conversations. That'll help you understand. Am I disqualifying too quick? Do I have bad data? Is there something else going on? You can start to find out where the breakdown is in your system and then focus on that.
Yep. No, 100%. I love that you brought that up. I'm going to get to Winston. I think I skipped Winston's question, but I'll get back to it right now. It says, like you said, the internet waters down meaningful things. I thought planning out your day or working on a schedule and self-development was corny, but it's a game changer.
Yep.
No, for sure, man. Again, it's definitely you're right about that, right? I think what happens is that the internet does ruin a lot of things. I mean, and social media, anyways, in general. So, what's up, Ricardo? I don't know why you're popping up as Facebook user. Yo,
That's Ricardo.
yes, Ricardo. I just double check. Let me go back to Winston's question because I love this right here. He says, speaking of creative, how do you explain the offer? I love this.
I think this is huge, right? I can't wait for you to talk about this because again, I think a lot of people do this wrong, but
Definitely. So one of the things is to figure. So I'll start off by saying this is I usually don't want to explain the offer. I want to have the seller work the offer out with me. That makes sense. So what that means is that first of all, they need to be in a position where if I know that a cash sale is not going to work, and then I tell the seller like, hey, you know what, Ryan? So it sounds like we're too far apart on the cash offer. Something I've done in the past when this happens is I've actually talked to sellers about other ways that we can buy the property. And they're going to say, well, how's that? Right. So I'm not going to get into creative. They don't have time. My next thing is going to be, well, that conversation could take another 5 to 10 minutes. Do you still have time to have that conversation? Right. We're setting up an advance agreement. You need to do that because the last thing you want to do is try to explain and structure a seller finance or a subject to deal in a 30-second to 2-minute conversation. You have to first, Winston, is make sure that you understand that, right? You're transitioning from one negotiation strategy into another, and you got to make sure that you don't throw too much at the prospect if they're not ready for it. So you got to make sure that you transition and get that advance agreement of them talking to you for another 10 minutes so you can explain it to them. Potentially, you might have to schedule another callback, but that's okay too. Because like I said, the last thing you want to try to do is explain how, a seller finance or substitute structure is under, from 30 seconds to 2 minutes. You don't want to do that. Now, let's pretend that they say yes. How does that work? Max, I can talk to you for another 10 minutes. I need to figure out how I can sell this. So now the way I say it is a lot different than the way I used to present it before. And so for me, it used to be like, well, one of the things when the cash offer doesn't work out, one of the things I say is that I need, if I paid you what you're asking for, would you be the bank? Right. And allow me to make payments. I used to say that, which doesn't sound too intrusive, right? I'm not using a lot of buzzwords, right? Industry words, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even then, I got away from that because my coach, Cash Money Mike, who's my seller finance coach, the guy, he's teaching me a lot of seller finance. Consider him a coach. He's a very good friend. So, but I'm learning from him. So he's my coach as well. But he changes it. I love the way he asks. So now it's like, Winston, I know that you want to be at 200,000. If I was able to pay you the $200,000 that you're asking, how much time do you think you would be able to give us to pay that off? Right. And so what's going to happen is they're going to be like, well, what do you mean? How does that work? Like, how much time do you need? There's going to be different things coming at you. Now we're bringing it to a level where they're at, because you got to understand, we are a payment nation. We're a credit nation, right? So people understand payments. So we never talk about down payment. We never talk about interest. We always, because they want the price that they want, we're offering them, give them the price that they want. So if you want 200,000, and then I ask like, hey, if I was to give you the $200,000, how much time do you think you would give us to pay that off? And a lot of people don't know, right? They're like, well, I don't know. I mean, how much time do you need? Mm-hmm. Right? And we get that asked a lot.
Yeah.
And I'll say this. I'll say, you know what, Winston, that's a fair question. I get it. You obviously you're trying to figure out, how this works. And every seller has different goals. Every seller has different, for me, potentially, I would like to keep this as long as I can. But, I have sellers in the past who've allowed me to keep the property for the term of the loan of 30 years. Some sellers giving me 20, some 15. It just depends on what goal you have. So what do you feel comfortable giving us if we gave you the $200,000, which is the price you're asking? How much time do you feel comfortable giving us? Now we got them thinking. We gave them some information without actually, right? We gave them some information without saying like, okay, without trying to sell them or convince them.
Mm-hmm.
We shared a third-party story there. Now we're going to, we're not even talking about down payment interest rate yet, right? We keep attacking the asking price. And when they say like 60, let's say, well, I can't give you more than 10 years. That's all I want to hear. Right? That's all I want to hear. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, I've already divided the 200,000 by 360 months, right? I divided while they're thinking, I divided the 360,000 the 200,000 by 360 months. Perfect, Winston. So if I paid you $240 equally for 120 months, sounds like that's the time that you would feel comfortable with and giving me. Notice how I did that, right? I didn't talk about down payment. I didn't talk about interest. I said equal months. And that's how we basically position our offer, our seller finance offer, right? There's some sellers, obviously, that know a little bit more, because sometimes when, we're talking to people who maybe have a rental and stuff, when they start talking about interest and down payment, now we're going to extend the time, right? Now we're going to get more time from them because the money's in the time. That's where the cash flow. So that's how I position the deals when it comes to seller finance. And then even on the subject too, now they're a little bit different because there's already a loan in place, so you can't make up the time, but we want to keep it for as long as possible. But hopefully, Winston, that's helped. That's how we explain the offer. And then like I said, if they start talking about, well, how much down payment? Well, in order for us to be able to, if they ask like how much down payment, one of the things I like to say, typically I only do anywhere between 3 to 0%. Listen to what I just said. If they say how much down payment can you give, typically I only do anywhere between 3 to 0% on most of my deals because I'm giving you the price that you want. I'm going back to the price, right? You can't have everything. You can't have the price you want. You can't have the down payment you want. You can't have the interest. So I'm going to go back to them and say, typically I do at the most 3%, but on all my deals, I'm usually doing about 0%. Well, Max, I can't do 0, but if you can do at least 2% down, like, okay, perfect. Go ahead, Ryan.
Oh, no, I was just laughing at what you're saying because again, it's we got a thing that we hear quite a bit is well, hey, they want this interest rate and they want this amount of money, and that's something again that we always tell them, hey, listen, if they call the price, we call the shots, right? So it's always give and take there, but they can't have all three. It's a very important point.
Absolutely not, man.
I say, Winston, if you need help with any of this, reach out to me. I'll get you connected with Max. My IG handle is on here, so I can get you connected and we can help you out.
Yep. It's again, it's working it out with the seller, right? Like, I'm not making my problem your problem, and you're not going to make your problem my problem. What we're going to do is we're going to work together to come to a solution, right? And a lot of times, like, some people will throw out, well, I need to talk to my seller, my financial advisor. I had a seller today, actually, 2 sellers throw that out. I need to talk to my financial advisor. I need to talk to my attorney. And I'm like, look, that's fair. Like, I get it. Like, I have no problems with that. I don't even know but first of all, I don't even know if I'm going to buy this house. First of all. Second of all, that's the conversation.
Slows them down.
Yeah,
I was about to say that slows them down. They're like, wait, what? And then you pull them back.
Pull them back. Exactly. And then I say, second of all, that conversation is for like page 12 or 13. We're barely page 1.5. Like, we haven't even discussed like, what we're going to be doing as far as the deal goes. No, I get it, Max. Yeah, and they start laughing. They're like, they'll start saying something funny or something. But that's usually I always like to be able to have them be. And one of the biggest things too that people don't talk about is make sure that you ask them if they have a pencil and paper in front of them. You cannot run these numbers and have the seller and think that the seller's going to. I made the mistake today. I didn't ask the one of the sellers not to if they had a pen or not. That you have to be careful with that. You need to have them write this down. They got to do the work just like you do. If you can get them on a Zoom call, be better. I know some people have done that. I haven't done that, but you need to make sure that that they have a pen and paper in place. So cool. Any other question? Let's see what we got here. Says Ricardo. Yeah, this is Ricardo. I'm down with the flu, man. I hope you get better, brother. That sucks. My wife was sick all last week, bro. Guys, drop some fire emojis, some thumbs up if you got value out of that seller finance section. You guys, that creative that conversation. So, Wiston, I appreciate that. He says yes because I'm a confused mind will always say no. Yeah, man, 100%.
Right.
Make sure you get that advance agreement, right? Ryan put it on here before you continue. You cannot overload them. Let's see. Winston says, yeah, that's fire. Let's go. Steven, appreciate the fire emojis. Let's see who we got here. Oh, Winston, I appreciate the fire emojis. Ryan, Alan, I appreciate the jewels. Thank you, man, for commenting. Really appreciate everyone. But yeah. Yeah, so remember this. We'll wrap this up, and I got one announcement I want to make really quick.
Big announcement.
Yeah. So make sure that again, everybody starts out as a salesperson. Once you start moving into being an actual closer, all it is solving problems. That's all it is.
Yes.
Getting better, asking questions. Go ahead, Ren.
Sorry, bro. I was just saying, yes, that's what it is. I say that's a lot to you at the house, man. We solve problems first. We do real estate second.
Exactly. I would even say, right, you're a problem solver first. This is what the closer umbrella. Problem solver first, salesperson second, right? The sales skill second, not salesperson. Sales skill second, and then buyer of real estate third. Problem solver first, sales skill second, and then buyer of real estate third. If you can figure out
buy without the skills.
You can't buy without the skills, and you can't use the skills without knowing that there's a problem there. 100%. Right? It's something that you have to remember. And if you can create that synergy and create that cycle of that problem solver, skill set, real estate, problem solver, skill set, real estate, problem solver, skill set, real estate, I'm going to tell you it's going to change the way your percentages. Guys, remember, we're not talking about perfection here. We're talking about, when we first started this call, I said if you can bat 300 in baseball, you're in the Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame, baby.
Hall of Fame, baby. So it's about increasing our percentages, increasing our opportunities, and increasing the average of our wins. And that's really everything I talked about tonight has to do with all that. So what I want to talk about tonight, I want to make an announcement. Let's see. Steven says, love it, no fluff. Carlos, I really appreciate you, bro, for dropping that money bag. However, talking about skill set is I want to make an announcement. You guys know that I don't do this as much. So I do have my sales intensive coming up. It's coming up on November 30th, right? And so basically it's gonna be November 30th. If you guys are considering taking your skills to the next level, what it is, it's going to be it's a 3-week sales intensive. It's going to be 3 classes broken up by 3 weeks. So starting November 30th, December 7th and 14th, and then the time zones are 4 to 6 Arizona time. But here's the great thing. This is the separator right here. These are the bonuses that you're going to get with the sales intensive. While you're doing the 3 weeks, you're going to get one-on-one Zoom calls with me available during the 3 weeks of the actual training. So in between classes, you're going to get one-on-one. The second thing is that I'm gonna have those that attend this sales intensive is I'm gonna allow you guys to be part of the circle for 4 weeks, right? The Closers Lab circle. And what that is, there's going to be 4 support calls, right? In that circle that you're going to get after the intensive, right? Once the intensive is over, you're going to get starting January 5th, because remember, we're going into
2023.
Yeah, we're going into 2023. So the classes are November 30th, December 7th, 14th, all virtual. And then the bonuses are you're going to get one-on-one Zoom calls during the 3 weeks with me. So I'm going to give you a special calendar link that you can book them at any time, as long as there's a spot available. After the intensive is over, you're going to get four support calls starting January 5th for the new year. for the new year. Think about that, right? You're going to have access to the Closers Lab alumni Facebook group. A lot of stuff happening. And not only that, I'm going to give you my top 10 objections and rebuttals PDF and live breakdown. It's like a 2-hour call where I break down each objection down to the minimal granular aspect of it. So huge bonuses. Huge bonuses. I've never done this before. This is something I'm doing right now because the new year's here, right? We're going towards the end of the new year, and I want you to start your new year with a bang. Everything you see on the Closers Lab. So again, one-on-one Zoom calls during the 3 weeks, 4 biweekly support calls after the intensive, and then you're gonna get the access to the Closers Lab Facebook group, and then and then the top 10 objections and rebuttals PDF plus the live 2-hour Zoom live. Remember that one, Ryan? How that one was amazing.
Yeah, no, that was really good, man. This is amazing. I didn't even know you were offering all this stuff, dude. This is really cool. We talk about this all the time. Invest in yourself. This is the best thing that you can do. I think this is a lot of great value that you're providing here.
Appreciate it, man. So here's the agenda. What is the sales intensive have? What is it? So week 1, we talk about sales system fundamentals, and you guys all got to peek into this, right? Which is the closer's mindset. We talked a little bit about that, right? Rewiring, changing how you view, when it comes to approaching sales. We're going to talk about why it's important to build a sales system. You got to make sure you understand that. And then I have a presentation called Sales Behavior Etiquette. We're not just going to talk about the closer's mindset. We're going to talk about the things that you need to do on a daily basis to increase your batting averages, right? So that's the Sales Behavior Etiquette presentation. That's just week 1, right? It's jam-packed. And so between week 1 and week 2, you're going to have access to me through the live Zooms, right? Sorry, through the one-on-one, through the Zooms. You're going to get those recordings as well. Week number 2, we're going to move into some advanced sales strategies. We talked about how important bonding and rapport was, right? So advanced rapport building, we're going to talk about that. I just showed Winston, I just showed you the advanced agreement, what I just did. We're going to talk about there's 3 spots. There's 3 highly important spots are where you have to use an advanced agreement. But we're not just going to talk about where you need to use them. I'm going to break down why it's important. Yeah, why it's important. And then advanced communication. So advanced communication is talking about how to use reverses, softening statements, and so it's going to be really good. And then from week 2 to week 3, again, you guys can book a one-on-one on Zoom. So week 3, we're going to do advanced negotiation strategies. We move away from sales strategies to advanced negotiations. This is where we're going to learn how to uncover motive, right? Motivation, whether it's pain or gain, it doesn't matter. We're going to uncover motive. Money talk, how to have the money conversation. Most people negotiate from what the property's worth. It's a terrible way to approach it. I'm going to teach you how to actually negotiate from what is owed and what is needed. Yeah. What people want and what they need is two different things. The last thing on there is next steps. We're going to show you what happens after you get the contract. And again, those are the 3. It's divided by 3 weeks for a reason, because it's a lot to cover. The link is actually in the comment section right now. So what I would like, if you are interested, click on it. You can book a call. There's a section right here that says have more questions, book a call, and it will actually take you to my calendar link so you can book a call and ask questions. But the bonuses are killer. I've never done this before. Ryan, have I ever done this before?
No, not at all. This is stuff I've been begging for you to do, man, because I know that the more people see and have access to you, dude, they're going to win and just be a lot better in life, Max. And it's just going to continue to grow. I've been around you for 2 years, right? I get to see all this. Mm-hmm. I experience it. And I'm like, man, more people need to experience this, need to be around it. Because if you are in sales, if any type of communication, even if it's not even real estate, Max will be able to help you get better. This is just amazing. I haven't seen this yet, so this is really cool.
Yeah. And again, it's all virtual, so it could be done from the comfort of wherever you're at. Again, it's I'm gonna kind of wrap this up. So 3-week sales intensive, 3 classes broken up by 3 weeks. And first class starts November 30th. And then we go through December 7th and the 14th. Now we have Christmas and New Year's next year. Or after that, excuse me. So what I want to do is I want to get you started right for the new year, which is why the bonus of giving you the biweekly support calls starting January 5th is going to be
stocking stuffer.
Yeah, stocking stuffer. I can tell you just this alone right here. This what is it called? The top 10 objections and rebuttals PDF breakdown. I mean, that's a 2-hour live Zoom call where I break down detail by detail why we use these rebuttals. And guys, these are not rebuttals that I just read from a book. These are actually applicable. They are applicable, not only applicable. Yeah, right now. And so I give the science behind of, why do I give the rebuttal and then ask a question? That whole thing, that whole breakdown, you get that at no cost for you. That's part of the bonus. So again, if you are considering taking your sales to the next level, I highly recommend. And again, I'm not a type of person that says seats are limited and then open up 10 more spots. I don't do that. And Ryan, you know that, right? Yeah. When I say seats are limited, they are going to be limited. So
very intimate. You're going to have all the time, all the attention that you're going to need from Max.
Yep. I want people to ask questions. I want people to leave, not just make sure that we leave with all the answer question. And the classes usually run about 2 hours, 2.5 hours sometimes. So got to make sure that you jump on that. So if you are, like I said, considering into the links in the comment section, I actually have the link as well. The link's also in the description of this video. And so that way you can click on it, book a call with me. If you have any questions, book a call. You guys have a calendar link there for you to book a call and strategize as to, what your goals are. And if it matches, we can move forward. If it doesn't, it's all good. No hard feeling. At the end of the day, it is what it is, and we'll all get to move forward. So
you're here to help, man. At the end of the day, that's what you're here to do, is help.
Exactly. And guys, like I can tell you right now, I don't talk about this a lot, right? And Ryan, I'm going to start opening up a little bit more on this. I've helped people all across the country, like literally, right?
Outside the country
too, right? Canada, Venezuela, Philippines,
Mexico,
got some guys in Egypt, some big players here in the country, right? I just did a Zoom call for some big players out of San Antonio last week. Michael from HBHS invited me. He was kind enough to invite me. Not that those guys that like I'm coming in to change their whole business. That's not what the way I received it, but the fact that they were, they saw the
trust,
the trust, exactly. Not only the trust, but also understanding that they're students, right? And they want their guys to get better, so they invest in them. And so he invited me last week, and we did a 2-hour Zoom call for them. It was amazing. The feedback was tremendously. So highly recommend for this new year, get your New Year's off running so you can be able to have better conversations. Increase your batting average. Let's bat 300, baby. Let's make it to the Hall of Fame. So,
heck yeah.
Anything you want to end this with? Wrap it up, Ryan?
Oh, man, I think that was awesome. That was great. And yeah, what I do want to talk about real quick here is, especially because you're just talking about sales, we actually have a position that we're looking to fill. We need help. We need talent. Yep. So if you or anybody that that is has sales skills, not afraid to talk to people, that's the number one thing. Got to be coachable and, be on the up and up. We definitely are interested in talking to them. My handle is right there at Real Ryan Overcash. You can DM me. Some of you have my number, so you can always reach out to me direct. But please send me some information if you or anybody think can benefit from working with Max and myself. That would be greatly appreciated.
No, I love that. I love that you brought that up. So make sure you shoot Ryan a DM. We're looking for 2 positions to fill. An acquisition position. You're going to learn directly from me. You're going to have access to all the recordings, and you're going to learn a lot. And then, and also, we're looking for a dispo as well too. So you're going to get trained by Ryan one-on-one. So it's a great opportunity. So to be trained by him. So you got to make sure if you or someone is looking for a better opportunity. Listen, guys, we're not slowing down. Like, we're just getting started, and we're the things we're doing is amazing on the midst of this market. But that's because we understand what's happening, and we got our pulse on the street, and we're learning how to adjust. But if you are interested and you know somebody, even if yourself, you're like, no, I'm good. If you know someone that would fit that opportunity, send Ryan a DM. So to Real Ryan Over Cash.
Yes, we all go out in networks. I know we know people and talk to people, so don't hesitate. Please send them my way.
Yeah. All right. So we'll end this on a positive one, like we always do. Ryan, do you want to tell people, you want to break them down on something positive to wrap up the show, or?
Sure. Yeah. Let's go with it, man. So everyone, today was an amazing opportunity to learn from Max. One of the biggest things that I've learned from being with Max is to invest in yourself. All right. You have to invest in yourself because no one else is going to. And if you don't invest in yourself, you're not going to get better. If you think that you're going to get better just by doing the daily activities, your 9 to 5 or, the 8 to 10 hours that you work, you will, but you're going to take a long time and you're going to struggle and it's going to be tough. So my advice, my encouragement, something that I do myself, something that I've learned from others who are ahead of me, is they all invest in themselves in one way or another. That's read books, listen to podcasts, and by coaching, by mentoring, invest in yourself. A rule of thumb that I learned from Darren Hardy is you should be spending 10% of your annual income on coaching or some sort of investment in yourself. So that's what I'd leave you with. Thank you. Now I just gotta wait for Max.
Boom. Let's go, baby. I appreciate everyone. Thank you for being on tonight, and hopefully you got value today. And I'm looking forward to seeing some of you in the sales intensive and potentially reaching out to Ryan and working together. So everybody, thank you very much. Have a good night. Later.
Thank you.
Peace.
What was that, bro?
I don't know. It's what is going on here?
I don't know what to do with my hands now.
We're trying to end the show, but for some reason it's not letting us end it here. I have no idea what's happening.
Oh, jeez.
All right.